Anastasia from Generation Nomads, and today's video is about burnout. I will be sharing my experience with burnout because I know that it's such an important topic for us millennials. It's becoming even more important as more and more young, ambitious professionals are at the verge of burnout or are really incredibly stressed in their everyday life. And that's why I think it's important to share the lessons that burnout has taught me, specifically about being successful in life without sacrificing. This video will not be about the day-to-day life of living with burnout and my symptoms, but if you're interested in how I realized that I had a burnout, or how it was to go through burnout, what the symptoms were, how long it took me to recover, and my basically journey with burnout, then just let me know in the comments and I will make sure to address that in another video. This video will be specifically about the lessons that burnout has taught me, and they will be basically mirroring already lessons that I have shared in a contributor article on Thrive Global. I'm super proud that I was able to write an article for this health and wellness giant, and I will be going with you through the 5 lessons of burnout. So for everyone who doesn't know me yet, I had a burnout in early 2018. I used to work in a Fortune 500 company, in a health technology company. I was there an innovation consultant, and I was working with corporate teams as well as with startups to validate their ideas and to bring their ideas to market. So I am not one of those who absolutely hated their job. I actually really invested a lot into my job and into my career, that I let it really fully consume me. I think this is what basically caused the burnout. And additionally to that, I just felt like I was sacrificing so much of my personal life for my career, that I completely neglected what I actually wanted out of life, that I neglected going after my dreams. But we'll be going into that in just now. So lesson number 1 that burnout has taught me is that being busy is not a prerequisite for success. And why am I saying that? Is because I feel that in today's world, our society is praising busyness. So being busy is almost put equivalent to being successful, or the other way around. If you are successful, it means that you have to be busy, right? And people often even call themselves being too busy for things proudly, or being calling themselves busy in general, because it means they have serious stuff going on. This means that they are doing things and they have really a busy life, etc. So it's almost being seen as a good thing. But what I started wondering when I had really daily anxiety that I was going through, and I could not be really busy because everything that I wanted to do was so stressful, from simple things. They were just almost too stressful to do. I started wondering, is actually being busy really a good thing? And what I came to realize is that being too busy for things that you actually want to do means that you don't have your priorities straight. And if you're looking at your agenda, I just encourage you to review how many of the items that you have on your agenda are reflecting things that are really adding to what you want out of life. So how many of your to-do list items are actually want to-do list items, and how many of those are really to-do items that you actually don't want to do? But if you're critically reviewing them, how many of them do have to be on your agenda? And maybe you can, kick some things out because they are not as important or urgent as they think they are. Lesson number 2 is about success, and actually burnout has made me redefine entirely what success means for me. So if you are like me now, then or like I used to be some couple of months, almost 2 years ago, then you would think that success means really having the social recognition, being successful in your job, meaning that you're climbing up the ladder, you are making more money, you are getting more responsibilities, you are being recognized by your environment for what you do. So successful, I had to realize when I ran into burnout, and I had to critically really rethink why I got myself into this situation. I realized that many of the things that I have been doing were because I felt pressure from outside. And it doesn't mean that, people were sitting behind me and saying, you have to do this, you have to do this. So that was not the case. But I was following a path that I thought was making sense. I thought it was logic because I saw everyone around me living this path. And I asked myself the question, am I being successful for myself, or am I being successful for others? And I had to realize that many of the things that I have been doing were not really serving my definition of success, my values, and my things that I wanted to get out of life. And I started to rethink and actually really define, what does it mean for me to have a successful life? And then working towards those ambitions and celebrating the successes that I make on the way. And being successful for yourself is including a lot, all areas of your life, right? While you are actually thinking about success, mostly attributed to like work success, success in what you do, in your career, and your achievements. But actually, if you're thinking about what does success mean for you personally, then it should include all areas of your life. So it doesn't help you if you're a rock star at work, but actually you're super unhappy in your relationships, if you don't have time for friends or things that you love, or family, or just not having a life in general. So think about what you want to be successful for. Then lesson number 3 was about that failure is a sign of strength. And that might seem contradictory, but it's something that I had to, it took me a long time to understand that, or to realize this, because when I first had my burnout, I felt like I totally failed in everything that I do. I felt like I let myself down. I felt like I let my colleagues and everyone around me down. I really felt like a failure. I was embarrassed. I didn't like to talk about the stuff that I was going through. So many of my friends, especially, and also family, I didn't want to burden them, but also I didn't want to share like really this experience. They didn't know what was going on for a long time. So what I had to learn though is that having a burnout and really failing at something doesn't mean that you're weak. It actually means that you're strong, especially in the case of a burnout, because you need to ask yourself, why are you feeling so overwhelmed, so overly stressed, so overly, going beyond your limits? It's because you are really investing a lot of energy, time, and effort into, being successful at work, being, caring about a certain cause, working on a relationship, like whatever it is that you're really putting all of yourself in. You're having a dedication and a drive that not many people have, and you let it consume all of you. And being actually able to burn out is a sign that you are really giving it all, and that's something that needs to be celebrated, but it's also something that needs to be really you need to be cautious of it, and reflect that it does not become harming to your health, which in the case of burnout does. But in general, failure is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign that you're trying things, that you're doing new things, that you're trying to make a change, and you're trying to improve your life or other people's lives. And that's something that you should be proud of. Lesson number 4 is about your gut feeling. So, before I officially officially got diagnosed with burnout, or doctors confirmed that I had a burnout, and I really accepted that something is going on with me, I used to have a bad feeling in my stomach and in my gut for a long time, for many months. Yeah. And this means that, the chronic stress that actually is causing burnout is building up over a long period of time. And your gut, your intuition, whatever you may call it, is giving you signs, is warning you when things are off. But the thing is that this little voice of your gut, of your intuition, is very easily to ignore because it is silent. It's something that is nudging you once in a while, but it's very easy to slap it away and say, yeah, you know what, I just have to push through, I just have to do it, and then it will be better. And the problem is that it's like this, that it really tips over, and this is what happened. You don't see a burnout coming, because otherwise, of course, you would, try to prevent it, or you would stop in time. But it's building up. You feel that something is going on. You feel that something is off. You feel unhappy, unfulfilled, stressed, tired, exhausted, everything, over a period of time. But it is still possible to neglect that and to push that aside. And what I have learned is that I need to listen to my intuition and to my gut feeling more. I personally do it through different techniques like meditation. It is, whatever works for you. But just when you are hearing that little voice inside, it is always your most critical judge, but also most accurate compass. And then, last but not least, lesson number 5. Lesson number 5 is one of the most important lessons I had to do, and I'm so grateful for this lesson because I feel like I still have a lot of time ahead of me, hopefully, and it's something that I can do better. So lesson number 5 is about not postponing life to later. So often I have been living in a kind of futuristic world of mine. It was a world that I created where everything would be better, where I would, at some point go for my dreams. When I reach this, I will be happy. When I, celebrate this success, I will feel happy with myself and fulfilled, and, I will feel self-love. I will have everything that I want. So I was basically living living to wait for this perfect life that would sometime happen, where I would magically go for my dreams, where all those things would happen that I would want to do. And for me, those were traveling, those were starting a business, being more creative, like really doing things that were entirely different from how my life used to look like at that point in time. And going through, being put out of this everyday routine, because after I had my burnout, I stopped working and actually took a long time off, and I went traveling. So that's a whole other story. But having this time to reflect taught me that, I have to really understand what my values are, what my priorities are, what my dreams are, what my goals are, and really go for them now. Because what you don't want to do is wake up one day when you're 80 years old and then reflect on your life and think, I had so many things that I wanted to do. I had dreams. When had I stopped dreaming? Why haven't I really done those things that I wanted to do? So at some point you feel, especially in a crisis that burnout is, you are confronted with the fear of regret, because you start to realize that something that you have been doing is not the right path, because that led you to, this crisis moment. So for me, I'm very grateful that I was able to reflect. But I would have hoped that I would have this moment of realization without suffering through this, terrible period of anxiety. So I hope that, these 5 lessons were something that will be helpful for you to maybe rethink one or another thing that you're doing currently in your life, that you will never get into the situation that I had gotten myself in, but so not only to prevent the bad, but also just to proactively get to a better future. So again, as I said, if you're interested to learn more about my burnout experience in general, or anything else that you would like to know from me, then just comment down below, and then we will see each other in the next video. Bye bye.